today is the most important day that we, from my generation, I feel have ever had, as far as making a decision for a president. Doing, and first I want to say, you can doubt the things that I say, and you can say things about me. You can think I'm crazy. You can claim I'm racist. You can claim I'm um, a conspiracy theorist and stuff like that. I don't give a shit. Uh, I've been wrong and I've admitted it a few times about certain things, but that's the sign of someone who is trying to understand everything and then also trying to share everything because if someone can openly admit that they've made a flaw or a mistake about something, that is a sign of someone who is trying to really figure it out and not trying to deceive anybody. If I wanted to deceive anybody, or if I was caught up in some kind of matrix of deception, um, then I don't think that, if like a lot of people, if they're wrong, they won't admit it. That, I think, is the essence of what our problem is today. Is that we have people that support a system that has been stealing from us and crushing our country and our belief systems, and then hurting people around the world, and then yet people still support the people that are representing that system. The reason I'm making this video is because of how important today is. And I've always danced around the idea of making videos and doing like a YouTube channel, and I've done a few things, but nothing, that matters. But what matters to me is the First Amendment. I mean, that matters. What matters is that we're supposed to have a choice in who becomes our president. We're supposed to be able to go around, share our opinions, argue, and then vote. What a lot of people don't understand is that if you look at history, if you look at presidents, and you look at how they got there, and you really do the research on elections and voting, and you just listen to the people talk, the people that are on TV, the people that are in those positions, the people, you can hear all these contradictions. Obama and Hillary talking about how Bush stole the election in Florida. Uh, well, it was so close of a margin in that election and pretty much every election that we've had in our lifetimes and before. Those margins were always so close because they are putting the two people up there that they want us to choose between. And so if there's one of the two that they specifically want to get into office, I mean the ones who finance all of the campaigns, and they fund through lobbyists and through foundations. They receive money from powerful entities, not American powerful entities only, but foreign. All over the world, people are contributing millions of dollars to our political system. So there is a person that they want to get in, and there's a powerful system in place that makes those decisions. You can call me a conspiracy theorist; it doesn't bother me. You got to look at history. We haven't chosen a president in a very, very long time. Look at the proof. Look at the evidence. They killed JFK. They killed JFK, a couple weeks after he made the greatest speech ever, talking about how this powerful, foreign-funded entity is threatening the sovereignty of our country and the freedoms and the rights that we're supposed to be fighting to protect. The oath that the military takes before they go and fight for us. The oath that the police officers and everybody takes before they protect us. This is what we're supposed to be fighting for, so that we can keep our freedoms and our rights and our sovereignty. One of the rights being the ability to do what I'm doing right now, which is risky, right? Because people can judge me, people can call me names, people can try to bash me and talk shit behind my back. If I let that bother me, then I'm not going to have the balls. And I've been thinking about this in my head for a couple of days. But if I let it bother me, I'm not going to have the balls to do it. And so then I've self-censored myself. Well, people are self-censoring themselves all over this country, but what people don't understand is that they're still going to go vote. So to get to the voting, there's a there's a lot of speculation out there. There's a lot of people talking about, rigged elections. Well, Obama and Hillary said that, Bush stole it in Florida, and yet Obama and Hillary both say that rigged elections don't exist, but then they both say that Russia, we have threats of Russia hacking our elections and rigging it for Trump. What you have to understand about the politics is that it's always been theater. Two puppets provided to us by two nomination processes of two big parties that are funded and organized by the money men, the powerful entities. You got Saudi Arabia donating $53 million. You got Qatar. You got all these different countries donating all these millions of dollars through the Clinton Foundation. And this is all out. This is all evidence. This stuff is out there. But then you have the media, who also receives funding from a lot of these corporations and foundations that are foreign owned as well. It's blatantly obvious. People that I know have been talking about big money in politics and it needs to get out of there for years. But when it comes down to the Democratic Party candidate being their candidate, then none of that matters. Because, they've got to prevent the Republicans from getting in. Well, think about that. Like I said, two puppets provided to us. Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat. Everybody wants to talk shit that I'm recently talking more about Democrats, and so I'm automatically a Republican. No, we have the Democrats right now with a candidate who is got so many accusations that even if 1% of it is true, which more of it is true, but even if only 1% of it is true, that's more than enough to prevent her from being our president. And if you really study the Clintons, it's sad that people don't know more about it. And here's the thing. I think a lot of people do know and believe the truth instead of buying drinking the Kool-Aid that we've been drinking all these years. The awakening, I think, has occurred. And so back to the media, look, it's came out in DNC email leaks. It's came out in Podesta leaks. It's came out in Clinton Foundation email leaks. All these different people that are surrounding the Clinton camp talking back and forth about how they're going to bash Trump, how they're going to go after Ben Carson, how they're going to go after Ted Cruz in certain ways. They're going to go after him with sexism, racism. All of this stuff is outlined in like step-by-step planning, all communicated back and forth with these people illegally. The emails, everybody goes, it's just some emails. No, it's what's in the emails. It's the fact that they're not supposed to be having secret emails. It's the fact that they're not supposed to be secretly communicating at all. And they got this system set up so that they can make these shadowy decisions without the Americans knowing. Obama was supposed to be transparent. Yeah, right. The point of all of this is, look, we haven't chosen a president in a very long time. Rance Priebus came out and said he doesn't even know why Americans think that they vote in the primaries, that we select the nominee. Well, this time around, something different happened. After Hillary stole the nomination from Bernie, who had the populist vote, he had the people. Whether or not he made a deal early, late, whether or not he was serious at first and then got blackmailed, I mean, who knows what happened with Bernie? But what we do know is that they screwed him and the people that were backing him. So after Hillary stole it, what happened with Trump is that he had a majority, massive volume landslide of the Republican Party, that he basically stole the Republican Party away from the elite. He beat the rigging so badly that they just had to give it to him. There wasn't a chance in hell that they could lie and try to say that he didn't honestly get a landslide and beat the rigging in the Republican Party. The intentions originally were never to have a Trump. They never thought he had a chance in hell. The intentions were that they were going to have one of two or three of the original puppets that were running against him, whether it was Marco Rubio or Jeb Bush, John Kasich, whatever. Those guys, they wanted one of them to go up against Hillary. so that they could steer the election like they always have, so that if one of them gets in there good, they can control either one, but they can basically make the decision just like they did for Bush. So when you have two presidents that admit that they stole the election and for Bush, but then say that rigged elections, what does that even mean? It's bullshit. They're lying to you. Obama told us the truth about Hillary in 2008. Now he's hugging and kissing her on stage, campaigning for her at the cost of $200,000 an hour of taxpayer money. They're sharing motorcades. Point of the matter is, they want Hillary. They being the machine that is funded by globalist financiers that are like coming from the terrorist countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, these powerful people who go and decide how wars are going to transpire and how all these different world affecting events are going to occur. Wars profit. These are the people that profit off of war. So without getting all into, how they've used our resources and our military to protect their war crimes and their basically arms trading and all of the different corruption that goes along with that, like Benghazi and what that ambassador was going to whistleblow on and why he really got killed. I mean, without getting into all that, why should we even have to get into all that? There's 20 scandals surrounding the Clintons. There's 30 plus years of scandals. Everybody's forgotten. Then there's Trump, and you've got Trump comes in with a landslide victory in the nomination of in the primaries, and people think that is not important. You've got the elite of the Republican Party, the Bush Empire wing of the Republican Party going against him, siding with the Empire wing of the Democrat Party. How is that not enough evidence for people that the entire elite machine on both sides of the rigged aisle are against him? That in itself is enough for me. I had to explain to somebody yesterday why I support Trump. So, in the beginning, I doubted him. I didn't see anybody else on the stage that I could trust. I didn't know anything about Ben Carson. I pretty much thought Ted Cruz was probably the best guy up there. Come to find out, he's basically, still handcuffed by the Bush Empire, which is why he remains, in my opinion, why he remains in the Republican Party as a future puppet. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope he's actually constitutional. But the point of the matter is, I didn't think Trump was, I thought Trump was a decent person, but I didn't think he would go as far as he did. The point of the matter is that for the first, 14, 15, 16 months of Trump running and me watching and me analyzing in my brain and me questioning myself and going back and forth, I personally was skeptical about the man. I knew that Hillary was horrible. We had Bernie. I was watching him have this populist movement with him, and that was basically, in my opinion, about anti-Hillary. They didn't want any more of the same old empire. So they're going with Bernie, although he's got flaws like socialism and all that collective money and it takes away from the individualism of America and the unity that can be created, derived from individualism and the ability for each other to just work to help each other individually. Like, that's what we're supposed to be doing. So although I disagree with Bernie, I feel like he should have been the one that Trump was running against because he had the populace on that side. That would have been a true election. So I knew that neither of them were an option for me. So I'm looking at Cruz and I'm looking at Trump. Well, Trump, to me, I'm going, well, he's a billionaire. He's been rubbing shoulders with a lot of these people for his whole life. He comes from money. He's not, he wasn't born like me and then climbed and scratched all the way to the top. He he had some help. He had a rich dad. Nobody denies that. But what I say about that is, if you can take a little bit of money from your dad, I say a little bit is a fucking lot of money, $1 million or whatever. People will say otherwise. Even if he wasted it and it got more, he still took money and turned it into a hell of a lot more and made the business even more successful than it was. Period. Point is that I was skeptical because I thought there was a chance that he could basically be a shill for Hillary. You know, like a couple people that I've heard say that he was meant to throw the election at the end to give it to Hillary. So I purposely watched very closely and with skepticism listened to him and still listened to all the other crap from the other side as well. And I finally came to the conclusion, because I told myself, I said, the only way he can be, for me to feel comfortable in saying that I'll back him, is that I need to know that he's really, really, truly against the machine. He really, truly wants to make sure that the world knows how bad the Clintons are and their ties to all of this corruption and all of this pay for play and money laundering and worse. So it was basically going to be based on, does he or does he not come out with the hardcore information? And does he or does he not share this hardcore information with the world? Is he or is he not literally trying to take down the machine so that we have a chance? He is. It's obvious. You don't get on stages with 20,000 people 2, 3, 6, 7 times a day, funding with your own money, and say the things that he said about the system and about the Clintons and about their ties to the Bushes and about their ties to all of the illegal activity that it's now coming out. It's evident. And if you don't believe it, then you're simply just listening to the wrong people. Meaning you're listening to mainstream media and the way they put out talking points and they edit them in a certain way, sound bites to where it sticks in your brain. It's kind of like the method of, if you teach a kid something 3 times or repeat it 3 times, they learn it. That's what they're doing to people. They're just putting the narrative out there over and over and over and over again, so that the people who are basically loyal Democrats or people who love Hillary or the Clintons, people that are anti-Bush, although they're on the same team, a lot of these people will just buy the lies because they've heard it so many times. It's kind of like, if you want a realtor, who's the last realtor that sticks in your brain because they marketed to you? They're marketing to your brain on what they want you to think about their opposition, and in this case, the opposition to the Democrat candidate, which is also represented by the media. Proof has came out that they're funded, that they're organized, that they're scripted, and that they work hand in hand with the DNC. That is all proven. It's in the WikiLeaks emails. If you don't think the WikiLeaks emails are real, then you're lost. And it's pointless. Just turn this video off. So they go against the opposition however they can. It's political strategy. One of the main political strategies of the Democratic Party forever has been racism, sexism, and any kind of fabricated, trumped up charges that they can come up with, including women who want to say whatever about Trump, who have now been disproven and discredited. They use all of these tactics to try to trick the mind of the masses to not even look into the opposition to hear what he's saying. How many people do you know that won't even watch a Trump speech or listen to a Trump interview because they've heard a few sound bites of him that have made him sound racist or have made him sound sexist? They won't look into the hundreds of interviews of people that work for him, that have been around him, and things that he's done for people. They don't want to listen to any of that stuff because it would mean admitting that they are wrong. If they listen to it, there's a chance they could be wrong. So what did I do? I didn't support him till about like a couple months ago, really. And the reason is because of what I saw. He came out with the truth of things that I've been studying for a long ass time. You know, I don't watch sports hardly at all. I don't pay much attention to what's going on TV. I work and I play with my kids, and I read and watch things that are important to our world, and I just study history, and I'm not special. I don't need anybody to pat me on my back. I'm just telling you the way I am and what I do and why I come to this conclusion, and the reason why I'm sharing this and taking 20 or 25 minutes of my time today to make this video. And the only reason is because I feel of how important it is. And I've got 1,000+ people on my Facebook page, and that's nothing. But I've gotten messages from people, and I've gotten enough information back from people and feedback that I know that there's people listening to me. A few people. It's not big. I don't care. I'm a tiny little cog in a massive wheel that I'm trying to participate in because you're supposed to. And this social media platform is the new way for practicing for your freedom of speech. But it's also the new way for them to lie and censor the shit out of what they want us to know. So the more people that do what I'm doing is fighting against that. And that's why I do it. I don't care what you think about it. Turn the video off, right? I don't care. I'm just doing it to make a point and to share what I feel is important, because it's my right to do so. I don't care what you think about it. So I came to the conclusion that Trump is better than Hillary. Well, I knew he was better than Hillary from the beginning. I knew that Hillary was corrupt from the beginning. I wanted to know if he was going to talk about that or not, and how deep he was going to go. Well, he went very deep. He told her on a debate stage on national TV that she should be in jail. That's big. You know, all of these WikiLeaks coming out, it's all timed perfectly because it's all strategy, because there's really good guys still within our NSA, our CIA, our FBI, our all these different police departments that want to take these people down. But they're handcuffed by the bosses. They're blocked and prevented and censored by the bosses. There's intimidation, there's blackmail, etc., etc. We're living in a movie. If you don't believe that, your head is in the sand, people. So, allegations of Trump being racist. There's just not any actual evidence about it. You can talk about some lawsuit back in the day with his dad's company and tenants and steering and racial stuff like that. First of all, that was his dad's company. Second of all, I mean, that they didn't. I mean, there's no actual proof that was happening. That was part of a class action lawsuit, and it's not proof. It was a long time ago. He's had 40 years since then of living life and running a company where there's tons of minorities that talk about how good of a guy he is. So to try to bring up some old shit like that really has no weight, it's crap, because there's 40 years of positive interactions with all types of people from the guy. All of his employees talk about how cool of a dude he is, how he comes in and drinks coffee with the mailman, the mailroom guy, and like the bottom level people when he walks around handing out $100 bills, and he goes out and talks to the construction workers at his job sites, and he chills with the people and he talks with the people. So for watching over the last 18 months or whatever and going back and looking at interviews and things that he's talked about, it's never wavered. It's always been the same. He's always said the same thing about trade, about our country getting stolen from through all these trade deals, about how we're killing ourselves with the open borders, how we're basically being sucked dry of all of our resources and all of our money and all of our jobs by big, powerful foreign interests. He's always talked about how our political system is shady, and it's like theater, and what's really going down in the background is that the people with the money are making the decisions. And where we're supposed to have elected officials, we have selected officials, put in there by the big time money machine. That's how it's been. You've got assassinated presidents that prove it. You've got people that were trying to become president that were assassinated. You got good presidents like Reagan, who they shot, and he changed his ways, which resulted in the drug war, which resulted in how many other tangent issues in our country from the drug war? We got an open border that is letting people come in from all over the world, not just Mexico. There's evidence and proof out there of OTMs, other than Mexicans, coming through our border. The cartels getting paid to assist in this trafficking. The people that are coming in, He wants to stop the Syrian refugee crisis and all that. And the reason is because a large percentage of those people are radical Islamic who believe in jihad, and killing all the infidels. And if you're an infidel, you're an infidel if you're a Westerner to them. You're an infidel if you're gay. You're an infidel if you're a woman who's free. They want to behead you. And so it's not Muslims. And if you if you buy into that, that's not what Trump said. And he overcorrects himself purposely all the time. But the sound bites trick people. The media sound bites trick people. He didn't say all Mexicans are bad. He said there's a bunch of bad people coming through the border from Mexico. And then he also said, if you finish that specific quote from the main speech that everybody talks about, if you finish the quote, he said, and there's a lot of good people that come with it. And we want those good people, but we want them to come through legally, through the processes that we've already established. He wants to protect and reform those processes. And he wants to prevent the bad ones from coming through. What in the hell's wrong with that? If you have people that want to come in and kill people, don't you think we should try to stop it? There's a lot of illegal aliens in our country that are committing crimes. Murders, rapes. They go to jail for 6 months, they get out, they do it again. We're not deporting them. There's not a system in place, at least they're not allowing the system that is in place to operate properly to get the bad people out of our country. That's happening because that system is being suppressed because they want to have a population that they can control so that they can have more votes, so that they can have a system they want like a welfare state, a breadline state. They want a socialist state that they can control and basically rig everything. They want a peasant class. They don't want the machine, the globalist, not Americans, the people who fund the bad guys that have infiltrated our government. They're not thinking about American values. They don't give a shit. They're trying to crush that like they've done to the rest of the world. We're the last remaining country that has a chance to still stay free, and we're the youngest country. We got to protect those values. You can't protect those values with a wide open border where people that are our enemies, people that we're fighting in other countries that have these wars occurring because of the terrorism that comes from the countries that fund these politicians that give money to the Clinton Foundation. The people, the little small guys that have those beliefs, they make up a percentage of people that are coming through our borders, and even worse, being allowed to come through in programs that our government is supporting. We want to have thousands and thousands of refugees come in here without vetting them, and 20% or whatever believe in jihad, believe in radical Islam. There's peaceful Islam, there's peaceful Muslim, that's the majority. But then there's also radical jihad that makes up a percentage of that. So people say he's racist, Islamophobic, xenophobic, and all this shit. When really what he says, if you listen closer, if you listen to the man instead of the media talking about the man, he wants to stop the bad apples from getting in, and the only way to do it is to reform the system. He wants to create safe zones over there where we protect them, feed them, take care of them, and then vet them, and the good ones we bring over. Just like Ellis Island used to do. We would make sure the people were good people first. What's wrong with that? So the wall. Yeah, build the damn wall. Hillary Clinton used to talk about, it's on video, go look it up, about putting a wall up. It's because she's a flip-flopper. There's national security. We don't have national security right now. We have our military depleted, spread out all over the damn world, fighting in bullshit wars that do nothing for us. They're not protecting us. They're protecting the interests of the elite, the resources that they're trying to acquire. The occupations all over the world are so that we can have control over zones that have rich resources. That's why those people hate us. So we need to protect our borders because they're coming in through our border. And now they're coming in through programs generated by this president. She wants to increase it by 550%. Trojan Horse. They're coming in, and we're talking about all this terrorism and stuff like that. Well, that's the future of our country. Tons and tons and tons of terrorist attacks, shootings, bombings, etc., etc., because we're bringing in people that want to do that to us. And they're organized. So call me crazy, man. That's fine. We got to get Trump in there today. There's a possibility that they rig it through fractionalization of the votes. Go look up Bev Harris. She talks about how she has literally got the software and knows how it's used and knows where it's used. And they take the voter machines and they compile all the data into one machine, and that machine goes to a central location in every county, and then every precinct, and then stateside, and those numbers, all the data, compiles into one system, and then from that point they can fractionalize any of the votes that they want. So if Trump has 100,000 votes in a sector, they can say each vote counts for 25%, and he'll only end up with 250,000, 25%, whatever percentage they want to apply to it. This is not bullshit. This is not conspiracy theory. This is out there. The software exists. It's been exposed. Just because you ain't heard it on MSNBC or CNN, that goes back to my point of it being all one big rigged system. They're going to try to steal it. Here's the problem. The Republican Party, he beat that rigging with a landslide. The real true polls that are out there talk about or show that he's got a true landslide actual lead. It's the media that lies and says that he's got this it's a neck and neck race. It's bullshit. He wasn't, they weren't able to beat him. They weren't able to rig it in the primaries. And it's going to be really hard for them to rig it in the generals today because I think he's got such a huge lead everywhere, truly, and not what the media says, that they would have to use this system of fractionalization to swing the vote way big, like huge, and 10, 15, 20%. They're not going to be able to do that. It's easy when there's small margins, like in Florida Bush. They were able to steal it because it was 3 or 4%. They're going to have to steal it by massive numbers today because I don't care what anybody says. He's kicking her ass, and the numbers showing 4%, 5%. That's nothing. That's bullshit. So, if they manage to steal it, it'll be evident because there's more watchdogs than ever before. There's more exit polling than ever before because people are truly tired of the empire that we've had. They want to change. Even with all the allegations of Trump, which are all petty bullshit, media lies, the people are awake. I'm awake. Are you awake? I hope so. There's a lot of people that I know that are not, and they think that he's racist and all this other stupid ass shit. That's fine. But what about the rest of the country? We'll see. We'll see today. Anyway, I know this is a long ass video. Maybe you watched it, maybe you didn't. I hope everybody takes today very seriously, goes out there and votes, and start sharing some of this information with people that you care about. I've dealt with flack from friends and family for 15 years now. And a lot of what I've always said now is out there and it's mainstream information. So, them I told you so's are coming. America first.